Post your questions down below and let's get this Q&A started. Can I get strong by bodybuilding? Yes. If you're a real natural, progressive overload is going to take place, right? That's how you get bigger muscles. So whether you're using a higher volume approach with minimal specificity and you're not doing a lot of strength training methods, maybe you're not going above 80, 90%, but you're still doing your classic 3x8 to 12 with all your compounds, all your accessories, but performance is going up, right? Okay. If that's taking place, you're going to get stronger. Maybe it's not the most specific thing of all time. Maybe you're not going to be the greatest strength athlete, but I can guarantee you that if you decide to move on to a program like that, your strength is going to blow the fuck up real fast because you already have the base level of muscle mass. Most real naturals that dedicate themselves in the long run to bodybuilding, they're still pretty strong. Like, you'd be surprised, man. Most of them can bench in the high 2s. Actually, some in the 3s as well. Not uncommon whatsoever. Most of them can still put some crazy freaking numbers because high reps will still get you strong. High volume will still get you strong. There's more than one way to get results, guys. And the way that I see it, natural bodybuilding, if you actually do it right, in a way, actually in many ways, that's strength training. You get bigger, you get stronger, the correlation is extremely high, and I wouldn't stress so much. So no, you don't have to do 1 rep maxes all the time. You don't have to go above 80, 90% on a consistent basis unless you're specifically training for that, where you want the best of all worlds. And you're still going to be pretty strong, just not optimal here. Yo, Alex, I'm broke and can't afford a gym membership, but I have a backpack, 70 pounds of weights, and some resistance bands. What exercise should I do to build my strength for deadlift and bench, etc.? Well, I don't know why you're focusing on deadlift and bench if you know you're not going to be in the gym for a while now, right? The way that I see it, you want to focus on your general strength. And in my opinion, weighted calisthenics is the way you're going to do this. 70 pounds, more than enough weight. For weighted pull-ups, you're flying. So I wouldn't stress whatsoever about that. And you can do them anywhere. You can do them at a park. You can do them outside, on trees. Push-ups, you can do very high volume. Just that alone is going to get you results. And then, of course, the 70-pounder, excellent. In addition to that, dips, you can find any place, even your kitchen. Take 2 chairs, rep it out. 70 pounds, more than enough weight if you use a higher volume and all that. What's your experience level? I don't know where you stand. Are you a novice? Because if you're just brand new to lifting or training in general, just standard bodyweight movements is going to get you results. And I would even say long term, you can do that, right? And the weighted stuff on top of it, you're flying. So I think you're going to have a little bit of a problem with the deadlift carryover, right? Because 70 pounds is really not that much. Maybe you can just focus on your weighted pull-ups instead, but that's all I can really say in regards to that, man. Do weighted calisthenics. Is it normal to have some weeks, incredible strength gains, and others almost zero with no changes to recovery, intermediate lifter? That depends on the program, and I suppose, yeah, that could happen to a certain extent, but listen, your strength progress should be rather consistent. If it's not, maybe doing something wrong with the nutrition or the sleep, or your programming parameters are all over the place. So you're guessing it. You're kind of in an experimental stage, right? And just by training and working hard, there are some times where you get better gains than others. The way that I see it, if you have a really, really good plan and you figured it out, the gains should be similar on a weekly basis, similar on a monthly basis. There shouldn't be these crazy freaking jumps and then periods where you're going back down. I mean, what I'd recommend to you, honestly, is concurrent periodization. Give that a shot. This way, it's going to be 100% consistent every fucking workout, where you're maxing out on a weekly basis if you choose to go that route, right? So you have your volume day, intensity day. Manage that every single week, but then rotate specific movements that automatically give you carryover or just get you stronger, period. And I say if you do it that way, it's going to be much more consistent than running some linear periodization stuff or just blocks where you're constantly doing this roller coaster shit. I suppose that's where you would see more of that with the roller coaster. But on a concurrent routine, strength gains are more consistent if you ask me. So in that case, you just got to take care of the diet and the sleep. So that's my opinion. For one-arm pull-ups, since I could do 1 rep each arm, would it be helpful to essentially stop all of the back training and grease the groove of 1 or 2 reps per day for a week or 2? Will this help get over this plateau? It might, but I wouldn't recommend it because the one-arm pull-up is very draining on the body. And it's easy to get an overuse injury if you just keep pushing it hard. Like, there's a reason why most guys who can do it can at least pull 75% of their body weight for 1 rep max on the weighted pull-ups. It really is like, there's a form component, there's stability as well, but there's a lot of absolute strength required. Like, you have to be a strong motherfucker to do a one-arm pull-up. So that in itself is very draining on the body. Like, it really is. So if you can do 1 rep, like, that's to failure, dude. You're basically going balls to the wall every single workout, high intensity. And if you do that grease and groove style, you're going to burn out if you ask me. So I wouldn't recommend that unless maybe you're doing it with bands. This way it's going to be less intense in the body. And of course, you still know how to do it. You're still teaching yourself the movement pattern, which you already established, right? It's going to be carryover. So to me, it's a bad idea for the simple reason that you might get overuse injuries right away. And it's just too intense, if you ask me. Hey, Alex, is reverse grip incline press a good exercise for upper chest gains? Probably, but I would imagine it'd be a weird movement pattern. Reverse grip bench is kind of like a straight bar path. You're pressing the bar away from you, kind of like towards your balls. So if you're doing that on an incline, like very, very strange. Because the incline, you're pressing more, like it's not so far out in front of you like that. So if you're going to do an incline reverse, I'd recommend keeping it at a small incline. So maybe elevate the bench with some mats or use like the lowest possible position, you know? But don't be on those high inclines that you see in the commercial gyms, reverse style. Like, to me, it's going to distort the movement pattern and it just doesn't make much sense from that perspective. But then again, I do have hypermobile elbows and maybe that's why I'm saying it this way. So, I don't know, try it out, bro. But for building muscle in the upper chest, yes, it's going to work. Yeah, Alex, what's your opinion on flat bench, neutral grip presses with dumbbells, and neutral grip pressing in general? I'm a big fan of it, man. And that's what I used to do for the majority of my presses when I was doing a lot of dumbbell stuff. I think it's fantastic on the shoulders, initiates maximum elbow tuck, and you can really feel those triceps as well. And in a lot of cases, it allows you to get deeper range of motion as well. Because when you flare your arms out to the side, right, it's easier for the bulk, the dumbbell, to hit your chest first. So when you tuck all the way in, you can actually go a little bit wider and get a slightly deeper range of motion, at least in many cases. So I love the way it feels. It's very difficult as well. It has automatic carryover to all presses. And it's just a nice way of getting stronger while minimizing the injuries. So getting more out of less weight in a sense. So I recommend you definitely give it a shot. And of course, when you do dumbbell presses, you always want to mix it up. So you can go all the way neutral. You can go neutral on the way down, flaring on the way up. You can even do your standard presses and all that. But just don't do that fucking guillotine style where you're flaring to complete max. I think that's a great way of getting snapped up. But definitely want to use all the variations, you know, flat, incline, and all that, and neutral grip. Are 15 to 20 rep back squats good for hypertrophy? What do you think about training this way and going to failure? Tom Platz uses methodology. It works great for gaining size, and it's actually time tested. People have been training this way for decades. So the squat is arguably the greatest lower body exercise of all time for gaining mass, and even strength, I would say, for the legs. And then if you do higher reps, 15 to 20, that'll blow you the fuck up, guaranteed. Like look into the 20 rep squat program, right? And there's many others that are similar like that. So 15, 20 reps is brutal, brutal, brutal on squats. I'm going to say if you can handle this, if you can recover, if you're able to push yourself in this way, those wheels are going to explode right before your very eyes. I will start following your novice program, but my question is, can I do cardio also and how much? I'm looking forward to a 30-day challenge, or as a novice, I shouldn't do it. Okay, you can do cardio. Just find out how much can you do without impeding your recovery, right? Because I'm having you squat 3 days a week. And if you're using the highest volume listed, that might be problematic on your recovery. So if you're going to do cardio, first of all, low intensity for sure. I don't recommend high intensity stuff, even though it could be done. But again, be mindful on your recovery. So brisk walking is probably the best choice. If you're able to handle jogging, so be it. But again, you have to pay attention to the way it's affecting your lifts. Like you're in the gym every other day doing a lot of squats, okay? And other lower body stuff as well. You have to make sure that it's not impeding your ability to recover, okay? Make sure that's fine. And then also you have to read the lost calories. If you take care of that, then do as much cardio as you like, man. I can't give you a set number on this. It's going to vary so much from person to person. So you got to figure this out for yourself. Do I need rows for complete back development, or are weighted pull-ups and variations and power shrugs enough? You said that you can't be the jack of all trades, and I can't decide on what to specialize in. Late novice here. Well, you have to decide what you want to choose, not me. Now, are rows 100% necessary? Are they mandatory? No. Are they recommended? Yes. Are they effective? Yes. Are rows and shrugs the ultimate combination for getting yoked? Yes. Does that mean you should do it? No fucking idea. That's your choice. All I will say that it's a good idea to include a horizontal pull in your training program, even if you're training the way that I'm doing right now, weighted pull-up specialization, right? The way that I'd recommend, right? Do your weighted pull-ups, make that your main focus, but then also do inverted rows, or do high volume barbell rows, or cable rows, or band rows. This way you still get the movement pattern in, make sure your structural integrity is on point, and there's nothing lagging here. There's nothing you got to worry about. So you're getting the best of all worlds. That's how I would do it if you want to specialize. Otherwise, you can flip it around. Mainly rows and shrugs, and then the pull-ups you do for volume. There you go. Okay, do you recommend benching 3 times a week, flat and incline, plus a few pulls for shoulder health? Okay, and then doing legs and cardio each once a week, by the way. Yeah, sure. If that's your goal, why not? The legs, I don't know what your objective is. Are you content with your size? If so, okay, do it once a week. But I'm going to say twice a week is superior. But again, I don't know what your goals are in regards to that. Now for bench, 3 times a week, yes. Do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, heavy, light, medium. Problem solved. And the incline, I would put on the Wednesday, specifically the light day, because it'll be a little bit easier on the recovery, but you're still going to get excellent transfers as well. So it gives you a nice little break. But again, you're getting that 3 times a week muscle protein synthesis. So that's how I would do it. I never use novice linear progression, 2.5 kilos workout added, but strength trained for several years. Should I try now? Will it be useful? Give it a shot. It might work, it might not. Maybe you already milked those gains in a different type of way. It's possible. Where are your numbers at right now? Are you past a 2-plate bench, 3-plate squat, 4-plate dead? Are you at least close to that? Like, I don't know. Maybe you can milk it for a few months. Maybe you'll find that it barely works at all. But I'm going to assume that you can probably get some gains out of it. And hell, maybe just periodizing your training right off the bat is a better choice if you've actually been training for many years. Is it normal to not experience that much muscle soreness when doing upper-lower split twice a week? Yeah, it's pretty normal, man. It's twice a week. Muscle protein synthesis. Usually you get less sore that way. It's typically the bro splits that have you being super fucking sore. Or if you're doing programs that include a lot of slow negatives and stuff like that. I mean, you're still going to get sore to some extent doing twice a week, but it's not going to be like brutal over the top, right? So I'm going to say that's very normal. And most of you guys, that's how it's going to be. You're not going to be walking around super sore 24/7. Like, you will get it at times, but it's not going to be dramatic or anything. What do you think about sandbag push-ups for working out at home? I have no idea what you mean by that. Are you talking about taking 2 sandbags and using them as like plow boxes? This way you get a deeper range of motion. Or are you talking about taking a sandbag, putting it on your back, and now you're doing weighted calisthenics in that way? Regardless, they're both effective ways of getting results. One is a form of plyometrics. The other is a classic movement that's effective. Push-ups will always get you gains, whether you're doing weighted or not. And I say, if the sandbag is what you want to do, go ahead. Although I will say that a backpack might be a better choice. Hey Alex, do you think someone who has recovered from a bulging disc in the lumbar region can squat and deadlift? Well, if you're recovered, I'm assuming you can, right? But maybe you should be careful not to re-injure yourself. Pay extreme attention to your form and programming and all that. And try to refrain from ego lifting. That said, should you squat and dead if you have a lumbar injury? I don't know. That's up for you to decide. Depends on the situation, man. Depends how fucked up your spine is, dude. I'm going to say it's not necessary. You don't have to do it. There's alternative ways. But if that's what you want to do and you're ready and it's not causing you any pain, go ahead and do it, man. What I can tell you is that there's a lot of powerlifters that had really bad back injuries and they got back in the game. The comeback, right? Maybe they don't regain their strength. Maybe they don't regain peak performance, if you will. But they're at least doing the squats and deads and they got strong again. So if you're recovered, right? What do you want me to say? Do you feel fresh when you walk into your strength intensity day? If I don't feel 100% fresh, does that mean I need to lower weekly volume? Maybe your programming is not 100% on point. You're not correctly managing your volume intensity. Or it could just be that throughout these days, maybe your food is not consistent. Maybe some days you're in a surplus, some days you're in a deficit. Maybe some days you're sleeping 4 hours a night, others 8 hours a night. So you got to manage the other factors besides the training. That's a possibility. Then sometimes it could be mental fatigue. You know, you think that you're physically drained or whatever, but it's just maybe you had a tired day at work or you're stressed out. So there's many factors to consider. But I'm going to say if you're constantly feeling beat down week to week, there's something going on. That should not be the case. Like, you should be recovered. Like, let's say you do my nationally enhanced program twice a week, full body, right? Monday, Thursday, and then Tuesday, Friday, you're mini home. You should be recovered 100%. Like, after the Thursday workout, the volume segment, man, by Monday, you should be flying. You should have no issues whatsoever. No soreness. Should feel great. If not, probably didn't eat or sleep enough, okay? And also, it could be that you overdid certain variables. That said, if you're not 100%, should you still train? Yes. I'm going to tell you that there's some of my lifts that I achieved that I wasn't feeling ready that day. I was kind of tired. I was like, I don't feel like going to the gym, but I went anyway, and best PRs of my fucking life sometimes. You never know. There could be instances where you feel on point, you go in the gym, it's a shitty workout. Other situations, it's the opposite, but then you're flying. So just do what you got to do, and then next week, reevaluate, man. What's your opinion on RDLs? How much carryover to the deadlift off the floor does it have? Does it also offer weighted stretch in the traps? Thanks. Well, I think RDLs are one of the greatest pulling variations of all time, and I actually prefer them over conventional deadlifts big time. Bodybuilding exercise, for the simple reason that it poses a lower injury risk. You get a nice stretch reflex at the bottom, and it works great as an accessory and as higher reps, okay? And it gives you tremendous carryover, which is also your second question. Yes, this will automatically build your pulls, and if you complement with a rack pull or a block pull, you're freaking flying, my friend. So to me, RDLs are really, really, really good. And if I were to go back to doing pulls like that, that would be one of my first moves. And I would do it with the dumbbells, the barbell, snatch grip, even with bands, okay? Then you asked me about the weighted stretch on the traps. Yes, all heavy pulls will have the weight stretch in the traps. Just the fact that you're holding the weights, that's what's building them up, okay? So RDLs, no exception. Hey Alex, you said numerous times you read the lost calories doing cardio, what macros? Okay, doesn't matter, just get the calories back in. So if you did a little run outside, you burned 200 calories, get that in, man. You could have a smoothie, you could have a little bowl of food, it could be a snack, anything, doesn't matter. If you're eating clean throughout the day, if your diet as a whole is on point, and you're constantly hitting your TDE, and your macros as a whole are really balanced, you're fine. And actually, the whole macro obsession is a waste of time for a lot of people, unless you're trying to be the best of the best and you're trying to compete on stage or whatever, and it's really got to be calibrated. But for most of you guys, it doesn't have to be that precise. If your carbs are off by 20 grams or whatever, it's not going to make a huge difference, okay? Unless you're doing a fucking keto routine or whatever. But honestly, doesn't matter. Just get your calories back in, you're fine. Maybe high carb or a little bit of protein. Give that a shot. Okay, last question of the week. Hey Alex, do you still use any beard oils or is it all natural now? Well, beard oil is natural, my friend. That said, yes, I use it on a daily basis, and I recommend that anyone who has facial hair does the same thing. For one, if you're growing it out, it's going to prevent a lot of that itch. And secondly, when you do have the beard, it softens it up. And actually, like, it looks better. You know what I'm saying? You're nourishing the beard, if you will. So I use castor oil with peppermint combined. I used to include other stuff as well, like cedarwood oil and jojoba, but I stopped doing that. So now it's just pure castor oil. I take a few drops, I put it here and on the chin area as well, and then I just marinate it in, man, or I'll brush it through, you know, and that's all I do. And for those asking, like, if I'm back on minoxidil, no. It's a natural genetics that came in. I don't know what happened, but for the last few months, my beard gains have just been coming along. Could also be the grooming. I have no idea. The fact that everything is even, so it looks more symmetrical, and the way I styled and all that, I don't know. Regardless, yeah, I use beard oil. I recommend you do the same. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A video. Post more questions down below, and I'll talk to you all next week.